Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the grand finale of the Mr. SL 2021 pageant. You're all amazing, and we appreciate your support. Well, Mr. SL was basically founded in 2015, and it was a logical consequence out of the success we had with Miss SL 2015. And then a number of guys came to me and asked me, yeah, well, what is about the man? And then it was just the logical consequence that we would found a male pageant too. So the first pageant that we had for the Misters was Mr. SL 2016. That was in autumn 2015. Back then I was still with another team, and in that process we found then Venom and Rissa, who from then on worked with me together. And at the end we had the first Mr. SL 2016, Zayan Samuel. Yep. And then we have continued, of course. Every year we had another Mr. SL competition until today. Well, this year was it's difficult to say. This year I thought that the group we have been working with were very eager and they wanted to learn actually. Um, I thought it was a good year and a good group to work with. We have experienced it differently. I just want to say, for example, that the year before was very difficult up to a point where I was not sure if we even were able to finish the competition. This year was different. The group was easier to work with. And when I thought it is always a question how to think about the challenges. Each challenge needs to be different, and I try to mix it a little bit to have more playful challenges and more serious challenges. And then I always forget how short Mr. SL actually is compared to Miss SL. And the first two challenges were the God challenge, and what was the other challenge? I don't remember. I already forgot. Halloween. Yes, so the first two challenges were quite playful, and then we had the Fendi challenge, which was very, very different to what the first two challenges were. That was quite difficult with the guys, for the guys, to actually make them understand, okay, we are doing two different things here. This is very playful and this is going to be serious. I probably should have started the first challenge with a more serious topic, more into fashion, to keep them online. But I think it still went well after all. This group, we offer each time after each challenge feedback, and most of these guys came actually after the challenge to get a feedback for their styling and for their poses, and they were very eager this time to learn, which I think is the main purpose of any competition that we do, that the candidates who come want to learn something, want to take the most out of the experience, their participation. Overall, I think it was good. However, I'm not very happy with the grand finale event. I told you both that already. I think it was an utter mess. Maybe not so visible for the person who is watching, for the audience, but for myself it was quite a blow. I thought, well, but in the end everything went well, and I'm very happy. I'm quite happy with the result too. I think the judges have... I mean, it is all accumulation of all the scores that we are getting from all of the competition until the very end. But I think the judges have done very well with the final selection of the winner and the two runners-up that we are having. And I'm also happy with the top 7. And still, the group, the complete group that we had, all of them were very, very, very nice. Very fun and nice group.
First, thank you for inviting me. Joining Miss SL helped me discover who I am, and I think it happens to everyone who joined the Miss SL competitions. But I discovered my passion, the skills I didn't know I have, and what I can do. I was inspired, especially by Marcus, to be more public-minded. to place myself and my set of skills into the community to see how I can help make it a little better and get it done. And I think the competition, the Miss SL competition, is not just a beauty competition. It's more than that. Marquez and everyone in the Miss SL organization encourage us to give back to the community. That after we win, or some people that just they love to just give back, and he encouraged everything about that. That's what I love about this, and thank you very much.
I think the final result is what surprised me the most. Not just the final result, but normally I prepare the score sheet, the score tables all the way before, most I can. This time I didn't. And I only took the score tables 1 week before the grand finale event and put them together in a final score table the week before. And there I already had a huge surprise by seeing who actually is leading in the scores. That was something I didn't expect from my observations. And then in the finale event, to see how, I mean that is always quite a thriller to see how the scores are jumping up and down and how some people are advancing in the scores. The most surprising fact is that we do have 2, I think even 3 models with no runway modeling at all being in the top 7, while there are models with extended modeling experience who are not in the top 7. And that is for me the most surprising thing actually, that tells me you don't have to have modeling experience to participate successfully in a pageant. Yeah. Hikaru will remember that I mentioned that and told him, look at the top 7. 3 of them have no runway modeling experience at all. They just came very fresh, very new to the competition, had no clue of anything, and they participated in the challenges, came to the feedback, and have evolved from the first runway challenge to the grand finale in this very way that they have succeeded into the top 7. That is for me the most surprising thing of this round, but it's probably every time again.
Allora, Come esperienza di Mr. SL, le cose che mi sono rimaste più impresse, colleghi, modelli ovviamente, che con cui ho instaurato dei buoni rapporti e comunque continuo ancora a sentirmi tuttora. E come ho detto anche durante la finale, sono stato davvero felice di aver conosciuto questo gruppo di Mr. SL, quel gruppo che organizza Mr. SL, perché li reputo veramente professionali e delle persone veramente di cuore.
Okay, aspetta. Okay, so the thing that really impressed him or is staying with him is that meeting this group of men and the relationship he has formed during the competition, and he is still in touch with everybody and still talks to several of his fellow contestants. You know, to today. And in terms of the organization, the Mr. Cell organization, he was just so impressed with how professional everybody was, and also how they're good people. People di cuore means people with big hearts, would be a better translation. Okay. Hi, tesoro.
Per Marcus invece ho questo pensiero che ho voluto scrivere, quindi lo leggerò.
For Marcus, he has something that he actually wrote that he wants to read. Bye.
Ed è: ciao Marcus, volevo dirti che in questo mio percorso che ho iniziato con te ho notato subito che hai facilmente in tuo potere la capacità di aumentare la felicità e la carica delle persone che ti circondano, semplicemente con il pronunciare poche parole di apprezzamento a qualcuno che è solo e scoraggiato. Forse domani ti dimenticherai le parole gentili che hai detto oggi, ma il destinatario le terrà care per tutta la vita. È stato un vero onore conoscere una persona come te.
Okay, so the translation is, hi Marcus, I want to say to you that in this past that I started with you, I immediately noticed that you have in your power the ability to increase the happiness and the energy of the people around you simply by saying a few kind words to someone who is feeling alone or discouraged. Maybe tomorrow you'll forget these kind words you said, but the person who received them will hold them dear for life. It's been a real honor to meet someone like you.
Generally, I do. I have a rough picture before every competition, but I don't plan them long ahead. Because I think that's wrong. I want to be able to react to the current situation, and that, for example, made it possible to have in Miss SL the Karl Lagerfeld challenge, the Karl Lagerfeld tribute. That was just a month after he passed away, and so I want to be able to react to the current situation and have the challenges based on actual topics, on current topics. I mean, however, it sometimes happens that I only decide over a challenge on the Sunday before it takes place. It's quite short, but I think it is a competition after all. It needs to be a challenge somehow, And so I only post the challenge on the Sunday evening before a challenge takes place. That is just a few days which they can prepare. And admittedly, sometimes I have no clue at all. And then I need to ask my husband, Hikaru, and tell him, do you have an idea about what we should do? It's not necessarily that I take 100% of his idea, but generally he's very inspiring to all of the competition, to all of the challenges that we do. So I ask him, do you have an idea? And the final say is with me.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bueno, ¿qué puedo decir de Marcus? Primero que todo pienso que es una persona maravillosamente creativo. No tengo palabras para expresar cuánta gratitud tengo hacia él. Me gusta trabajar con la organización de Meets SL. Me parece divertido, me siento en casa. Los desfiles son maravillosos. De hecho, corro cada vez que para postularme en uno de sus desfiles junto con la organización. Es una persona maravillosa. El amor que hace, el esfuerzo, la calidad, la dedicación, el trabajo, es algo que me fascina de Marcus. Y creo que es algo que a mí me motiva a seguir como modelo en la agencia. De verdad, puedo decir que este reconocimiento se lo merece con todo el corazón. Es una persona brillante, que todo el mundo sepa la clase de humano y la clase de persona tan maravillosa que es, con sus objetivos, con sus deseos, con su creatividad. Y simplemente puedo decir muchos éxitos en su vida y que siga llenando de creatividad, y un gran abrazo para Marcus.
What motivates me still after 6 years, I will be very honest. I have thought of dropping it all together quite a few times. But there are a few factors that make me going, that make me keep me motivated. First of all, that is my responsibility towards my team. That is not just Rissa and Venom and Xuro, but also the so-called Miss SL Ohana, that are the people who have won previous competitions, or who have just sticked around with us. They have some expectations. They actually expect that things continue. They do expect that Miss SL will begin on January this year. or beginning of next year, so to say. I don't want to disappoint them, so I just keep going. The other point is, and that is probably the most motivating point, is to see the candidates evolving during a competition. They are actually growing, most of them. I have to say not all of them, but most of them are growing from each challenge to the next challenge. And in the Grand Finale event, we are harvesting actual results. I actually see what they have learned in the last months. And that is very satisfying. That is like I don't have kids in real life, but it is like having kids, to see them growing in that time we are together with them. And the other thing, the final thing I want to say is what keeps me motivating is that I seem to like entertainment, that I like to entertain people. And the shows that we do, when I see the final result, maybe not the most recent Grand Finale event, but generally I think our shows are different to what most people do. I want to keep to do things a little bit more exciting, so that people have a good time while they are watching a show. So that is something I'm trying to do too, and that keeps me motivated too. I think if I would do a show like most other do in Second Life, that would be utterly boring to me. So yeah, that are the three things that keep me motivated. Another factor, well, that is my husband who keeps me motivated too. That is a very clear thing. If he wouldn't be at my side, I would not be motivated as much. I would probably have stopped doing everything I do long ago.
Hi Marcus, this is Jade. I really appreciate everything you have done to me this year through Miss SL Pageant 2020. I learned a lot of things and I improved myself a lot. Then I met very talented, amazing people in this organization. I really feel Miss SL organization is the best organization in this SL. So I hope to continue to work with you next year and maybe forever, or I don't know. So I hope very happy Merry Christmas and prosperity of you next year. Thank you so much, and please forgive my English. I try to my own best. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's very difficult because everyone has very own expectations. However, if someone is joining Miss SL, Mr. SL, or Avista competition, our utmost goal is to answer them all and any questions they have, and that is my encouragement I give them right from the beginning. Please do ask all and any questions you may have. We are not going to serve you the golden plate. Like in German there is a very a saying, wir tragen denen nicht den Hintern hinterher. We are not going to help them in every aspect. They have to do certain things themselves, like the styling and figuring out the poses themselves. But if they have questions, they are encouraged to ask the questions, and we are trying to answer the questions best as possible. And my saying is, and my team lives up to that, they are actually seeing it the same way. There is no dumb question whatsoever. And so we are trying to be patient with everyone as best as possible and answer them all the questions they have. And then when we had challenges, we are always going to have a feedback that is optional for every candidate. They can come then to us on the day after or a few days after, and then we are going to look at their poses and their styling and tell them what they could have done, what we think they could have done differently. And that is probably a major point, or a very, I would say, good point in our competition that candidates can take with them. I don't know how it goes in other competitions. I have really no idea. I've never competed in other in a pageant, and I don't know how other organizations work. But I think it is this very point of MISSL organization that we do this feedback where candidates actually can learn something. We are not telling them, oh, you are bad, try again, something like that. You failed. That was really, really bad. You are not good enough. Something like that. I've been actually accused to say that, but I never say something like that. This is actually that we are trying to tell people, here, have a look at this. Have a look at this pose you are doing. And maybe you can do that a little bit different and explain them why we think they should do that differently. And maybe the candidate is taking that advice and is trying that out for themselves. That is very important, that they are developing this thing for themselves rather than just taking the advice one-to-one and not developing it for themselves. Difficult to say. In the end, the candidates would have had ideally a wholesome experience from the beginning to the end, in which they have learned about themselves, about what their styling capabilities are, what they can achieve with posing. And it sounds very strange, I would say, but the result of the competition is secondary. It really doesn't play that big role for me and for everyone who competes with a genuine mind and actually wants to learn something. Then the result, who is going to become Mr. SL or Miss SL or Avista, that is just secondary, and maybe is a nice aspect of the competition too. But like I always say at the beginning of the competition, everyone who has participated in a competition to the full extent is actually a winner for themselves and for me very much too.
Hola. ¿Qué te digo, Marcus? Que ya no sepas. Soy tu fiel admiradora. Estoy orgullosísima de pertenecer a esta gran familia de Miss SL Organization. Ha sido y sigue siendo un aprendizaje de calidad en mi roleplay como modelo en Second Life. Da gusto trabajar con tu equipo, a los que quiero extender mi mayor gratitud por estos momentos especiales que nos brindáis. Felicidades por este bien merecido reconocimiento y que sigamos viéndote crecer y compartir con todos nosotros a la vez que aprendemos de ti cómo hacer las cosas bajo la excelencia, lo que te define en todo lo que haces. Te quiero, jefe. ¡Mua!
Well, I did have actually in the last years, in the years before, I've never prepared a speech. Before I started with Mrs. L organization, I did have a number of speeches, and then it was somehow expected from me to do speeches, and I thought I shouldn't say so much. I'm not supposed to. It is not supposed to be that I'm the one who is talking. And however, this year I did have something prepared, but I wasn't able to finish it. And now, if I have the possibility, I would like to say very much from the bottom of my heart, thank you to Rissa, who is now 6 years with me in the 5 years in the Mrs. L organization. Sorry, 5 years. Rissa, I call her my angel, and she is really the angel of the Mrs. L organization. And the organization would be nothing without her. It is her unconditional loyalty to Mrs. L organization and to me. To me, she is the very backbone. If she wouldn't be there, I would fall. And that is, I'm just here because Rissa is still here. So thank you to Rissa. And then I want to thank Venom, of course, too, who is an angel too. even though Rissa would probably disagree, making a joke of it. But of course, Venom is equally an angel to me. Rissa and Venom come together as a team, as one unit, and many things in this organization would not happen without Venom's tireless and most loyal commitment to the organization and to me as well. So thank you to Venom. And also want to thank Xuro. For many, he is not very visible, rather in the background. But he is the one who is asking me the right questions and giving me the right answers in the right moment too. And if I could, I would form clones of Xuro, because there are not enough people like him who are very genuine, very loyal, and very thoughtful. He's very careful in everything he formulates, and that is something I very appreciate. His integrity and his loyalty too. Yeah, and of course, there is my husband. Nothing ever happens without my husband. There are probably hundreds of things I could tell about him and me, but no one has to actually endure what he has to experience with me every day. I think it is not easy for him to be with me. I'm quite a difficult person to be around with privately. I would see myself as being a little bit insane, a little bit lunatic, and I want to do everything done in the very minute and not tomorrow, not next week, but now. And I'm clearly very addicted to very straight procedures, and I'm not shy to test his limits too. So he is the one who keeps me up and running, and if he would have enough of me, if he would just go and leave me alone, I wouldn't sit here either. So he's the one who keeps me stable and eventually succeeding. And well, thank you, baby, for everything, to keep up with my quirky ideas, and for still loving me. Thank you. Of course, I would have to thank all the past Miss and Mr. SL models who are supporting the Miss SL organization over the many years. Still, it means a great deal for me to see them sticking around with Miss SL organization and supporting our events and the competitions and the candidates that we have, their advice. That is a great deal to me. It means the world to me that they actually trust us, and feel themselves as being a part of the Miss SL Ohana or the Miss SL family. So I do thank them for being around this good many years now. And of course, I would have to say thank you to Basil, Mr. SL 2020, for being the last year Mr. SL, the reigning Mr. SL. He's been very humble and quiet person, but that's not bad. That is okay to me, okay for me. And nevertheless, we have a new Mr. SL, that is right, but we still have plans with Basil too, and with Mr. SL USA, his first runner-up, Chase, as well. So I'm looking forward for that, to work with the both now and in the future. And of course, finally, I would have had thank again the candidates from this competition once again for being such a wonderful group to work with. All of them have worked hard, and anyone can say that, then that is probably me, because I see them always in the feedback, and they are all asking mostly me the questions that they have. It is really difficult for me at the end of the competition to let them go. I don't want to let them go. If you have worked for this number of weeks and months together, you are growing somehow close together. However, that is the nature of a competition. The event maybe has ended here, but I would hope that they are still somehow seeking our advice in whatever they are doing, and maybe we will see them sometime again. I would be very happy to see them again, all of them actually, because they were really, really nice to work with. And I'm so very happy that 15 of them have been in the Grand Finale. All of them are my personal favorites. There's no exception. And I want to thank, which I think is also very important, the audience who are coming to our events, maybe watching from YouTube. Either way, that also means a great deal to all of us, and to me in particular, that you are interested in our events, that you are actually enjoying the show. I said that earlier, that is quite an aspect statement, and that you are supporting the candidates in their journey from the beginning to the end. That is extraordinary, actually, that this is actually still a thing in Second Life. And we are happy to have you each time again. And my last thing is that I thank you both, Nida and Seraph, for doing not only this documentation, but also that you are accompanying with us now since quite some time, and broadcasting some of our events, and then accompanying them with some videos too. That is for the candidates very nice to see at the end. That is for us very nice to at the end, and I hope that it helps others a little bit in their decision to maybe join not just Mr. SL, but any of the other competitions as well. It is quite worth it, I think, and it should be a good experience for everyone.
And having recently been through the experience of Miss SL as a contestant, it was really fascinating to be on the other side and experience Mr. SL as a spectator and as a judge. And it was, I really started to appreciate some of the things that Marcus told us when we were contestants in Miss SL, and how he really enjoyed seeing people develop and grow in their modeling skills and their styling skills throughout the contest. And I definitely saw that happening to the contestants, Mr. Sell, and I really, saw how inspiring and enjoyable, and you start to, really grow attached to different people, and it's such a pleasure watching people grow and develop, and because of the kind of the way the pageant is really relatively compressed in a short amount of time, people just from one to the next just grow by leaps and bounds, and that was really fun. The other thing is I really started to appreciate how hard the judges work. It's really hard to judge somebody else's work and try to do it in a consistent and fair way. And I really tried my best to kind of have a consistent set of criteria to be fair and give people the proper points. And so I really appreciate all the people that did that for me. And in terms of Marcus, I mean, as a contestant, I saw how hard he works and how much heart and energy and thought and care and love he puts into the contest, and that was just, renewed my appreciation and admiration. And he's not alone. He has a fantastic team, the ability to attract fantastic people and keep them for an extended period of time is a testament also to him that he's been able to attract, like Rissa and Venom and Hikaru and all the other people that are in his orbit, that all really good, hardworking, kind, generous people that they have, that he has attracted them and kept them is a testament also to his heart and hard work and general goodness. So it's been a pleasure. This whole experience has been a pleasure, and I'm just so happy that when I was looking for a contest to enter, people directed me to Miss SL. I'm grateful that I picked this to be my place. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Thank you very much, Nidatin, for inviting me. Mr. SL pageant is an amazing experience where you are challenging your skills and talent. As they say, only the strong believers dare put their faith to the test. After my experience this year, I have learned a lot about myself and improved with the feedbacks from the judges and the guidance of Marcus and his team. It really brings the best of me. Beside the competition-wise, Mr. SL is a unique community and family where people help and support each other, and I really invite everyone to try it at least once to understand exactly what it is about. And for Marcus Lefebvre, I want to say thank you for your hard work, honesty, and for your ability to believe in people and inspire them to become better versions of themselves and evolve, putting the spotlight on the new talents in Second Life, because this is exactly what happened to me. Merry Christmas, and thank you again for everything.
Marcus and the Miss SL organization were always so kind and helpful to me on my modeling journey, even when I was a complete outsider. Their kindness and passion is inspiring, and it brings a light to SL for other passionate and creative. I think SL is what you make it, and I think we need people like Marcus and SL to keep things going and feel alive. I really appreciate everything they've done for me, whether it was teaching me this modeling or giving me opportunities involved in something great.